The beloved Walford matriarch was left worried about her health after frequent bouts of overwhelming tiredness and, following some encouragement from Sam Mitchell, Kim Metcalf, she decided to go to the doctors. On the day of Ross Marshall, Alex Walkinshaw, and Vicky Fowler's Alice Haig wedding, she was summoned to the hospital for a bone marrow aspirate test and learned in subsequent scenes that she has AML, which is a rare form of blood cancer. Denise learned that she would require immediate treatment. Devastated, she struggled to process the news and thus headed to the salon, where she asked her smart speaker Iggy some questions about the condition. The show favorite, who recently marked 20 years in the square, was left incredibly emotional to learn of the survival rates for AML, and the even lower survival rates for Black people. Yolanda, who had suspected Denise had something on her mind, arrived at the salon to get some answers. Denise attempted to keep her diagnosis to herself, evading Yolanda's line of questioning and pushing her away, but she was ultimately consumed with devastation at the mention of her young son Raymond, breaking down in Yolanda's arms. In heart-wrenching scenes, helmed by powerhouse performances from Diane Parrish and Angela Winter, Denise shared her diagnosis with Yolanda. Yolanda wasted little time in offering comfort and support to Denise, who feared she would become a burden to her loved ones. Denise recalled her abuse at the hands villainous exes Lucas Johnson, Don Gillet, and Owen Turner Lee Ross, and how even through all her torment, she never lost that urge to survive. But she noted that her diagnosis feels different to that. Yolanda was quick to remind her that she survived everything the aforementioned abusive men put her through, reiterating that she can survive cancer too. Denise was grateful to her for her powerful words. The matriarch will have more emotional scenes to come ahead of her next steps after grandson Jordan Fox was knocked down outside the wedding venue. Life in Albert Square has never been short of heartbreak, but upcoming scenes in EastEnders could deliver one of the most emotional storylines. Yet as Denise Fox faces the fight of her life following a devastating cancer diagnosis. For Denise, the future suddenly looks uncertain. After months of quietly brushing off worrying symptoms, Denise initially convinces herself that stress is to blame. Between family tensions, financial worries, and the constant drama that comes with life in Walford, she believes exhaustion is catching up with her. However, deep down she knows something isn't right. Friends begin noticing changes too. Denise, normally one of the strongest and most resilient residents of the square, starts missing appointments and avoiding social gatherings. Her trademark confidence fades as she struggles to hide growing fears. The turning point comes after a frightening health scare leaves her shaken. Encouraged by her loved ones, Denise finally agrees to undergo medical tests. While she hopes doctors will offer reassurance, the reality is far worse than she ever imagined. The diagnosis is devastating. In scenes set to leave viewers heartbroken, Denise receives the news that she has cancer. The words hit her like a train. For a moment, everything around her seems to stop. Questions race through her mind. How serious is it? What happens next? Will she survive? Alone with her thoughts, Denise finds herself confronting the possibility that life may never be the same again. Returning home, she struggles to process what she has been told. Rather than immediately sharing the news, Denise chooses to keep the diagnosis secret. She fears seeing pity in people's eyes and worries about how her family will react. But keeping such a life-changing secret proves impossible. Her loved ones soon notice that something is wrong. Concern grows as Denise becomes increasingly withdrawn and emotional. Eventually, the pressure becomes too much, and she breaks down during a deeply emotional moment. Tears flowing, Denise finally reveals and shockwaves through her family. Those closest to her are left devastated, struggling to come to terms with the news. Some desperately try to remain positive, while others privately fear the worst. The emotional fallout is immediate. Family members rally around Denise, promising to support her every step of the way. Yet despite their encouragement, Denise cannot escape the terrifying uncertainty ahead. Every hospital appointment feels overwhelming. Every conversation about treatment brings new fears. As she begins planning for the future, Denise faces questions nobody ever wants to ask. Will treatment be successful? How will her illness affect her family? And what if things don't go according to plan? The normally fearless Denise finds herself battling anxiety unlike anything she has experienced before. Nights become sleepless as she imagines different outcomes. Some hopeful, others terrifying. Meanwhile, the diagnosis begins affecting relationships across Albert Square. Friends who have always relied on Denise for support now find themselves trying to help her instead. Long-standing tensions are put aside as people unite behind one common goal: helping Denise through the toughest challenge of her life. Viewers can expect a number of emotional scenes as Denise confronts both the physical and emotional impact of cancer. From difficult treatment decisions to moments of vulnerability rarely seen from the character, the storyline promises to showcase a different side of one of Walford's most beloved residents. Despite her fears, Denise remains determined not to let cancer define her. In true Denise fashion, she refuses to surrender without a fight. Even on her darkest days, flashes of her strength shine through. She continues supporting those around her whenever she can, proving why she has become such a respected figure within the community. However, there are moments when the weight of everything becomes unbearable. One particularly emotional scene sees Denise reflecting on her life, her family, and the future she always imagined. Faced with uncertainty, she begins appreciating the things that matter most: love, friendship, and the people who have stood beside her through every challenge. These powerful moments are expected to resonate deeply with viewers, many of whom may have experienced similar battles in their own lives. As the storyline develops, Denise's journey becomes about far more than illness. It becomes a story of courage, resilience, and hope. While the road ahead is filled with obstacles, she discovers that she doesn't have to face them alone. Albert Square has witnessed countless tragedies over the years, but it has also shown the power of community during the darkest times. Denise's diagnosis reminds everyone just how precious life can be, and how important it is to cherish every moment. Whether her battle ends in triumph or heartbreak remains to be seen. For now, Denise stands at a crossroads, facing an uncertain future with remarkable bravery. One thing is certain: the coming weeks will test her strength like never before. And as Denise prepares for the fight of her life, EastEnders viewers will be watching every emotional step of the journey, hoping that one of Walford's strongest women can overcome the challenge that threatens to change everything. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to EastEnders Spoilers Official.